What's happening, people? It's the homie Smitster 400 coming at you straight off the Ave, and this is Smitster Reacts. One time for all the subscribers, how y'all doing? Welcome back, and if you made it to this video, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe. New content every day. So it saddens me to even touch this topic, bro, because this is my homie. This is a big inspiration to me as far as producing and everything. Like, I do beats and everything. Like, you feel me? Songwriting and all that, man. Like, check this out, bro. Kanye West exposed, bro, on some diddler-ish, bro. It's like, what's going on with these celebrities, bruh? Man, without further ado, man, shout out Culture Cover, man. We gonna react to this, man, because this is crazy, bro. This is crazy. Let's go.
I'm like, you guys stop, like stop. And they're getting to the point where they have like ripped my shirt off. And like I'm like almost fully exposed at this point. And they're both coming at me. And I'm like, you guys, like seriously, this isn't funny anymore. And I look to my left where his executive is. Like, we know him pretty well. Like we've been around him a lot. He's literally 3 feet away from me.
Kanye West is facing legal action from his former assistant. Lauren Peixoto is suing West for a number of complaints, including wrongful termination, quid pro quo and hostile environment, unlawful retaliation, unpaid wages, and gender discrimination, as seen in documents obtained by E! News.
Your attitude towards women has changed since having daughters?
Nah, I still look at Hub.
We're being told he's planning on launching Yeezy. A rep for Yeezy says they're in talks right now to build a studio.
So we all know Kanye has said and done some pretty outrageous things, but getting exposed as Diddy's accomplice was not on my bingo card for 2024. But here we are, and Kanye is now already facing accusations from 2 different women alleging some extremely disturbing behavior, with one even claiming that Kanye and Diddy ambushed her together during a studio session. Now, you might remember hearing about Kanye's former assistant Lauren, who filed a lawsuit earlier this month accusing Kanye of all kinds of inappropriate antics, from
You saying they tag teamed her? Oh man, this is crazy. Let's go, bro. This is crazy.
sending her explicit texts to even touching himself in front of her. And while Kanye immediately denied these allegations and even threatened to take legal action against Lauren, another woman has now come forward, singer Niykee Heaton, and she claims that Kanye and Diddy attacked her together in a studio while other men watched. Niykee is not suing Kanye or Diddy, and she made it clear she's not looking for any compensation. She simply said she wanted to share her story to warn other young women to think twice before joining the music industry. Now, it's interesting that Kanye was quick to deny his assistant Lauren's accusations, but he still hasn't addressed Nicki's claims about that studio incident. Fans are now saying Niykee must be telling the truth because she's not looking to profit in any way from this. And plus, the way she described the alleged attack, it's totally on brand with both Kanye and Diddy's past behavior. In Diddy's cases, we already know what he's been up to. And as for Kanye, his corn addiction is well documented. And he also recently announced he wants to open his very own corn studio. Listen, there's a lot to unpack here, so let's dive right in.
As these 2 grown men were pawing at me, trying to take my clothes off, I look over to this man asking for help, and I literally mouth the word help. And we lock eyes. And he looks away.
Remember when Kanye was making all that noise about Diddy being a fed and accusing him of being a puppet for the industry higher-ups? Well, turns out that Kanye's beef with Diddy only started after he felt Diddy had done him dirty. But here's the real tea before all that unfolded. Allegedly, Kanye and Diddy were in cahoots, and they allegedly engaged in some downright disturbing behavior together. Before Kanye switched gears and started throwing shade at Diddy, these 2 were apparently as thick as as thieves, and not in a good way. So get this, Kanye's former assistant Lauren Picciota dropped a bombshell lawsuit on him earlier this month, accusing him of inappropriate behavior, wrongful termination, gender discrimination, fraud, and all sorts of emotional and physical stress. According to court documents, Kanye allegedly touched himself right in front of Lauren without her consent, shared intimate details, photos, and videos of sex acts involving other IG models and Yeezy employees, and made non-consensual, offensive, and unlawful acts. And one of these acts allegedly
she's saying Kanye showed her some corn, right? Yeah. I hate to say it, but he did that when he was in that meeting or whatever with, I guess it wasn't it Adidas or something? He did some wild-ish like that. He did some crazy-ish, like showing them some what? Let's go.
included sending Lauren explicit, lewd text messages describing his bizarre fantasies and asking her to carry performance enhancement substances for him. By the way, doesn't this sound exactly like Diddy? In almost all the lawsuits against Diddy, there's always something about him using, forcing others to use, or asking them to buy or recreational substances. Anyway, let's dive into the weird and disturbing text messages Kanye allegedly sent to Lauren. If you haven't seen these texts yet, brace yourself because you might feel your stomach turn. Kanye allegedly wrote, "See, my problem is I be wanting to F, but then after I F, I want a girl to tell me how hard they've been F'd while I'm F'ing them. Then I want her to cheat on me and go get F'd with a bigger D than mine and come back and tell me the story. Then I want her to blank my D with her best friend, or option B, blank my D with a bad B I'm already F'ing that I F'd. Then made her tell me how hard she been F'd while I was F'ing her. Then went and F'd somebody with a bigger D behind my back and told me while I was F'ing her." Child, what did I just read? But there's more, y'all. The lawsuit then claimed that on another occasion, Kanye asked Lauren to get him honey, which is apparently a nickname for a certain performance-enhancing substance. According to the lawsuit, Kanye required that Lauren always have this substance on hand and ready, and she had to deliver it to him before his intimate encounters. And just wait, because there's a
He talking about the honey packs, y'all. He allegedly out here with the
another series of texts Kanye allegedly sent. One message read, "Escorts always got the best pee. It's their business." And then in another text, Kanye wrote, "I have a serious question. Be honest with me. Is my D racist? It is. This effing D of mine. I'm gonna beat this effing D for being effing racist. I'm gonna stare at pictures of white women with black behinds and beat the ish out of my racist D. This racist needs to be beaten till it can't be racist more. This ain't right, bro. After 400 years, we still at this point. The richest black man ever beaten the ish out of his BBC." The lawsuit then goes on to claim that Kanye made advances toward Lauren multiple times while she was on the job. And get this, he reportedly used to touch himself while talking to Lauren on the phone. According to Lauren, Kanye also had this weird fixation on the sizes of other men she had been with in the past. And then in another shocking incident, Kanye allegedly locked Lauren in a room with him during a flight to Paris under the guise of needing to talk, but instead he reportedly laid on the bed and started touching himself under the covers until he passed out. Meanwhile, poor Lauren was just sitting there in a chair across from him. But Lauren didn't come to play games. She came with receipts. She allegedly had photos and videos of women with Kanye and even some private home tapes. So yeah, with all the Diddy drama swirling around right now, this is literally the worst time for Kanye to be exposed as yet another industry creep. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, because another woman has now come forward alleging that Kanye and Diddy ambushed her together in a studio and then tried to forcibly remove her clothes. The woman is former singer Niykee Heaton, who actually used to be managed by Kanye's former assistant Lauren. And Niykee recently spilled some serious tea during an IG live session, describing a horrific incident that ultimately led her to leave the industry for good and move out of LA.
And people were asking, what's going on with you? Why did you leave the industry? Why did you fall off? Is the music industry as evil as people say it is? And I was like, it's more evil than you could possibly imagine. And I went into that to depth a little bit, and I was like, oh wait, hold on. Let me add a moderator because this is gonna be crazy. There we go, cool. I was like, I'm one of the lucky ones. I got out when I could. I was like lucky enough to only be like assisted like twice, and I was more than that, but it was 2 times that truly like left like an impact on me, and people were like, oh my god, like only twice, like stop diminishing what you went through, like no one should go through that. And I'm like, yeah, all right. And I was never actually going to tell this story, like ever. I was going to kind of like go to my grave with this because, you know, in my perspective, it's like, what's the point? Who would believe me? What good would it do? I don't have proof. I'm not going to file anything. But because of recent events and the things that have come to light quite recently, I felt the need to kind of come on here, and it was my time to kind of just tell this story. And it's pretty much one of the reasons that I lost a lot of my love for music in that sense, because like you guys know me, like I don't give a fuck. I'm out of the industry. I left LA. I'm in like the middle of nowhere, on a farm. Like what could I possibly gain from this, right? Like I don't care. Like I'm not filing any sort of suit, so like I'm not getting money from this.
Niykee kicked off by revealing that after her hit song Bad Intentions took off in 2014, Kanye reached out and invited her to a studio session, supposedly to collaborate on music.
Yeah, so all of a sudden like people were reaching out and wanting to work, and I was 19 years old. Like I had just left home, and working with my manager, and we were in LA and doing all these crazy things. And all of a sudden, I got a call one day, and it's like, hey, like, Kanye wants you to come to the studio. And we were just like, what? Like, Kanye knows who I am? Like, what? This is crazy. So we go. And this happens, like, multiple times. Like, you can find it if you go back and find headlines, you'll find proof of it. Like, we were working with Kanye, and he was like, I want to know what you're doing in your new music. Like, I want to hear your tracks. I want to play you mine. I want to know what you're doing with this fashion stuff, because like your style is cool. Anyway, every time we would go to the studio with him, it was like, yeah, he wanted to work on music, but there was something just like he would pull up his laptop and he would have like bookmarks of all of our pages and like our Instagrams, our Snapchat, Twitter, all of that, and like our pictures saved. And even now, like even like a year ago, I'm still getting DMs from people in the industry like, yo, like me and Kanye used to sit in the studio for hours talking about you and your manager. Like he was obsessed with you. And I was like, whoa, okay, crazy.
So Niykee eventually agreed to meet up with Kanye in the studio, and she went there with her manager Lauren. But when they arrived, Niykee was shocked to see Diddy was also there, and both he and Kanye looked like they were off their ish on alcohol and possibly something else. Niykee said Kanye and Diddy pressured them to drink, and while she only pretended to drink, her manager took several sips. And according to Niykee, she quickly realized the drinks were spiked. And then at one point, all those other women, including Nicky's manager Lauren, suddenly left the room, leaving Niykee alone with Kanye, Diddy, and several other men.
And we get a call, and it's like, hey, like, Ye wants you to come to the studio. And we're like, cool, like, why? And he's like, he wants to work on music. And we're like, that's great. And so we go, and it's like somewhere in LA, some studio we've never been to before. And we show up and walk in. And it's we're there to work on music, right? Like that's why I'm here. And we walk in, and it's Kanye and it's Diddy, and you know, a couple of people that we know, men, you know, an executive that worked with Kanye's engineer, and Kanye's cousin. And we walk in, and we're like, okay, cool. And it's immediately I was like, there's something not right. There's something not right about this, because we walk in and there's 9 other women there. And we walk in and there's all these ladies there wearing their club gear, and Kanye and Diddy are already like out of their mind, just like completely and the mixer is just like sitting on the table. But we walk in, and immediately, and Diddy hands me a drink, Kanye hands Lauren a drink, and we're like, that's weird. Why are they serving us?
Off the rip, they handing them cocktails. Yeah, you already know what they say about Diddy and them cocktails, man. That's wild.
And I don't like to drink. Like I don't like alcohol. I don't like the way that it like makes me feel. It makes me feel sick. So, but my manager since the beginning, she was just like, I know you don't like to drink, but if someone famous hands you.
Sorry, look, these ladies should have had somebody around them to kind of like, chaperone or something. Like, when you got a female manager managing a female artist in a, oddly, in an industry full of vultures, you might want to come a little bit, protected and prepared for anything for real. Because the industry is crazy than a mug.
Something to drink, even if you don't want it, just like hold it and like pretend because you don't want to seem rude. And I was like, okay. And it was like a vodka cranberry, and I was like, oh, gross. And so I'm just back against the console, just like pretending to sip this drink. Yeah, so I see her start to leave, and I'm like, where are you going? And she's like, it's fine, I'm just going to the bathroom. And I was like, no, stay. And she's like, it's right there, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay. And she walks out. And all of a sudden, I realize that I'm in this studio. The music's low, the lights are dim, but you can still like see everything. And I realize that I'm in the studio with Diddy and Kanye, and they're both off their shit. And there's 3 other men, an executive that works with Kanye, his engineer, and his cousin, and alone.
And that's when things took a very disturbing turn. Niykee alleged that Ye and Diddy began pressuring her to undress, playing it off like it was hot in the studio and telling her they were all just friends. Mind you, Niykee was just 19 at the time. She described feeling uneasy, but she didn't panic initially as there were other men present.
And they start coming towards me and they're like,
they like I'm young and impressionable, like young and naive, you know what I'm saying? Because these people idolize, these celebrities and whatnot, so they like to pull up and get them in their in their rawest form, like green pretty much. These people are green. These young ladies are green, you feel what I'm saying? So that's allegedly, but wow.
Don't you want to take your clothes off? Like, it's so hot in here. And I'm like, no, fine. I'm fine like this. And they're like, it's just us, like we're all just friends, like let us just like see like how you look. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And like I still haven't gotten scared yet, like I'm still like, this is a bad situation, I'm creeped out, but like there's no reason to panic, there's other men here.
But Niykee claimed the situation escalated when Kanye and Diddy started grabbing at her shirt. She then said she was backed against the exit door and mouthed help to those other men in the studio, but all those cowards ignored her.
Okay, so let me just get to the point. So they start trying, like they're like pawing at me, like they're both drunk, probably on something else, and I start to get a little bit apprehensive because I'm pretty much like backed up against the wall. Like there's only one exit and I'm pressed up against this door. And I'm still not completely terrified yet, but I'm like, you guys stop, like stop. And they're getting to the point where they have like ripped my shirt off. And like I'm like almost fully exposed at this point. And they're both coming at me. And I'm like, you guys, like seriously, this isn't funny anymore. And I look to my left where his executive is. Like we know him pretty well. Like we've been around him a lot. He's literally 3 feet away from me. Like if I reached and he reached too, like we could touch. Like he's that close. And I look and I'm like, hey, like I give that look where I'm just like, come on, like step in, like this isn't cool, like you're a grown man, like you're like 50 years old, I know you have a family, like this isn't right, like do something. And this is the part that for as long as I live, I will never forget. It isn't actually the aspect of being that's not what haunts me. It's this. It's as these 2 grown men were pawing at me, trying to take my clothes off, I look over to this man asking for help, and I literally mouth the word help. And we lock eyes. And he looks away. I'm like, okay, there's 2 more men in the room. And I look to his engineer next, who's sitting right next to him. And I know that he's married and he just had a little baby girl. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna do something. And I look at him next and I'm like, okay, like, do something, say something, do anything. And he looks down at his phone and starts texting. And then I was like, oh. I look at Kanye's cousin next. And I'm like, do something, you know?
Tell me the cousin did something.
Something. And he spins his chair around.
Oh, man.
And that's when that, like, gut-wrenching fear set in.
Niykee then alleged that Kanye and Diddy tried to take off her pants, and that's when she managed to lunge at them, escape through the exit, and hide in a darkened studio for about 20-25 minutes, crying and unsure of what to do next. Niykee said she finally left with her manager Lauren, who she claimed had her drink spiked by Kanye and Diddy, hinting that she might have been SA.
At this point, they had ripped my shirt off, and they were trying to get my pants off, and I realized that I was completely alone, and I closed my eyes for a second, and I was like, God help me, what do I do? And as my eyes were closed, this is gonna sound weird, because I bet a lot of you are wondering, like, how did you get out of this situation? My eyes were closed, and I prayed, and I said, God help me, what do I do? And it was like clear as day. I heard this in my head, and it didn't make any sense. I heard, go towards them. And I was like, oh, the one time I asked God for help, Satan answers, because why would I go towards these two who are sexually me? Like, why would I do that? And then all of a sudden it clicked. My back was up against the glass wall. I could not go any further back. That was the only exit. He said, go towards them. They were already drunk off their They were. So I lunged forward. I stepped forward, and it like threw them off balance. Like they were like, oh, you know, and like they stepped back at least 1.5 feet. And the moment that they did, I reached behind my back, I pulled the door, and I slipped out, grabbing my clothes. And I ran across the hall, across this corridor, and I hid inside of an empty studio that was black. And I sat there.
Look, that sounds like a believable story. It sounds like as she's reminiscing about it, the emotions of that particular incident are starting to hit her again. You feel me? Wow.
There for like 20-25 minutes, just like crying, like, what the do I do? And I'm texting my manager and she's not answering. That, I mean, I got us both out, and I got us in an Uber, and she obviously didn't remember anything because and I wasn't. And apart from the aspect of, you know, looking for help and they turned away, the only other thing that really is, what about all those other girls that were there? Mm-hmm. Those 9 other girls who were drinking the drinks before we even got there. Like, I know none of them got out. I know none of them got saved that night. And I'm like, did they even remember? Did they even know what happened to them?
Ultimately, Niykee said she's not looking to gain anything from sharing the story, and she simply wanted to warn young women looking to join the industry to be very careful and avoid studio sessions alone.
Right.
Stay out of the industry. If you have daughters, make sure to tell them that they're idols. They should never meet and should never go to the studio with anyone, even if you're invited there as an artist, unless you have a bodyguard with you. Like, oh, she was telling the truth. And I'm here to warn you guys that
They're not. I said that right. She should have had somebody with her. Come on, man. You gotta move correctly. But young and naive, you not knowing, you idolizing, you thinking everything's sweet, like you don't know what's going on in the game. Crazy.
more people are going to come forward. So believe her when she's talking right now, because it's the truth. You know I have nothing to gain from this. If anything, I'm making myself a bit of a target for that could come. And I hope that's not the case. Yeah. Anyway, that's one of the main reasons that I almost lost my love for music, and I got that place. Because I was so lucky. I could have had it a lot worse. A lot worse happened. I could have drank that drink, and who knows what could have happened. So I'm very blessed and very lucky that I got out of that situation. But I feel so bad for the women who I saw in that studio that night that didn't get out. And I pray for them every day because I always think about it. So yeah. God, strike me down right now if I'm lying.
This was honestly tough to watch. And at this point, I think we can all agree that the entertainment industry is one seriously dark and twisted place. But let me know how you feel about Nykkee's story. And do you think Kanye will turn out to be just as bad as Diddy?
I hate to say it, but I don't see it being far-fetched. I mean, we have artists like Rick Ross making songs saying, you know, you don't even know it. You know what he said. Um, you know what is in the documents for the Diddy case and how he treats his drinks. What Mark Curry was saying, how they had the different bottles. You know what I mean? You can check that on the channel. I got a reaction to that. You know what I'm saying? But this is a surprising and disappointing moment for me right now. I'm just like, nah, yay. But his sexual appetite is well documented. Like I said, he was in the Adidas meeting showing the Adidas people like, you know, we all saw it, right? So during his little Adidas meltdown, you feel me? So like, yo, wow. If you made it to this point in the video, go ahead, give us a like and subscribe. I'm at a loss for words. Cause the thing, like, you can just feel the emotion, man. You can just feel the emotion. Like, I got 4 sisters, man. I got nieces. I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, shout out to the subscribers. We appreciate y'all. This has been Smitster Reacts. I'm out of here, man. This is crazy, man. The industry's shady. Peace. Owie.